Hi, it's Hazel, and welcome to my channel, Hazel and Aka Design. I am so glad you're here. If you recognize these lovely envelopes from Denison Stencils, or well, I guess what they're calling lettering guides, then you too may have some old-fashioned paper stencils like this that you're wondering what to do with. I'm struck at the price difference. That's the Woolco symbol, which hasn't existed for a long time. Could that be July 2018? I don't know. Seems like they've been gone longer than that. Oh, look at that. Gotta save that baby. $4.69. This one, Army and Navy, Canadian store, which has now also closed, 39 cents. Look at these two precious pieces of ephemera. Anyway, I, of course, at some point, will figure out what to do with these envelopes. They are in great condition. And what I'm talking about today is essentially using the contents of the envelope rather than the envelope itself. So, let me remind you what some of these things would have looked like. And of course, there are other types of stencils that I grouped here. So this, maybe this was why it was only 39 cents or whatever. This is obviously, excuse me, like a Times Roman, alphabet, numbers. And then for the longest time, I was wondering, what the heck are these other things? Well, they are, let me show you. Here is an S. Here is a T. Here is a U, and so on. So this was kind of cool. Now this was, when I took it out of the, 1965. When I took it out of the envelope, I don't, excuse me, I don't know if it was mine or my husband's or whatever. He was a draftsman in a former life. Not that they would have used stencils, but he too has a love of stationery. It was pristine. It didn't have a single mark on it. So if this looks a bit suspect, that's because it probably is. I picked a few colors of ink that I liked, and I pretended that, in fact, the little doohickeys hadn't been punched out. That's how pristine it was. So I picked some colors that I liked and just smudged up the stencil. And this one is intact. The other envelope I showed you was for a Gothic alphabet, 4 inches in height. So I thought, well, that's not much good to me. So I separated every single, now of course the W and the M are the widest. I didn't go for uniformity in size because, of course, you know, a set of, what do you call that? Anyway, those guys are narrow. So is the letter I. You know, that might be this one. So I didn't go with any uniformity. I didn't worry about these little, I think the right word is registration marks, the little ruler along the side, the heading across the top. I just cut it into pieces. Now, some of these had been used, and I think this is sort of what we're used to. You know, over, I don't want to say spray because it wasn't spray, felt pen marks where a person's, you know, hand had hit a speed bump or whatever. But essentially, these are all pretty well. I think I might have used them for an Aka at some point. So there's an A, K, and is that an N? Yeah. So who knows what I did and when. So I had all of these things. Now, a long time ago, I don't remember who did it or when or where, I did see somebody using really grungy, really broken down, ratty looking stencils like this. And of course, didn't save the video. Don't as I say, don't know when and where that happened. But the idea stuck. So let me show you a couple more things, and then I'll show you what I actually did make with some of these things. So I also had these. Okay, so these stencils are simply cardstock. Both sides are the same. These sorts of stencils have a glossy finish, I guess for, you know, improved life, and the other side is matte. However, most of these things you cannot flip over and still have it be readable. So I cut this into, how did I do this? Oh, this is probably, it would have been a great big sheet, and of course that is really hard to store. So I basically, excuse me, I basically cut it into rows. And again, these things are not all the same size, but it made it easier to hang on to them. So there's those, and I'll come back to that in a minute. And then, of course, I also have these. Now, you can see that this was a size that had been used. So again, felt pen marks that had gone astray, you know, the kinds of things that this is more the real thing in terms of how a used stencil looks. Now, there's still all those little punch marks that I haven't done anything with, but I thought this is kind of a manageable size. It's 8.5 inches wide. I mean long, and 3 and almost a half high. Here is its partner, which would be the numbers and the lowercase letters. So, now I don't remember, might have been an organizational video where I brought out this metal filing box and showed these coffee stained index cards. And I was using this to store these sorts of stencils or masks or whatever you want to call them. Let me just separate one. There's an R. To make it more likely that I would use them. So there were those. There were these non-alphabetic, let me show you one. So these are obviously shapes. So I've got them in here as well. There are these that would serve more like masks. Oh, and I did discover as I was handling them that they are three black ones and probably 3 white ones. So that's something that now that I'm aware of and have them all in one place, will be able to reach for more readily if I need them in an art journal or something like that. And then, I don't know if I showed you that at the time. This is something that I picked up at probably Dollar Tree. And it was where the teacher's resources are. And it's called Die Cut Letters, 69 pack. So it was in sheets, well, in rows, I guess. And I basically punched them all out. And they are cute in themselves because they're so, you know, bright and cheerful. And who doesn't love a polka dot? However, they could also serve as, you know, in an art journal. They could serve as a mask. They could be outlined around to create an A. I mean, that obviously works better than, on some letters better than others. I can throw this out now, I just wanted you to see it. Yeah, so that, oh, and there's the distribution of what you get in terms of how many. It's like the Scrabble tiles. How many? You don't need many Zs, but you need a lot of Es. Okay, so I have that. So now, I will be, let's hope they fit. I will, let's just randomly pick a spot. Oh, yes. Will the big guys fit, though? No. No. They might have to lie across the top. So I will put all of these guys in there also so that I have a plate. I know that I only have to look in one place to find them. Okay, so the real reason for the video is to show you some of what I did. I just randomly chose a few things just to get the ball rolling here. So I picked XYZ. Now I had, still do, have a pile, a thick pile of scrapbook scraps that I had created when I did another recent video, and hopefully you'll catch that one as well. It was a modification of a brilliant idea I saw on Celeste, woodland-inspired channel. Anyway, so I picked some of those papers, and again, because I'm kind of, color is what drives me most of the time, I faked some, I tried to make this look used. Now I suppose I could have roughed up the edge of the stencil a bit instead of having it so pristine. And that might be a good thing to remember for next time. Maybe I could rip that little thing off there and that little thing off there. Yeah, that looks a little better. Anyway, I used my, what do you call it? What do you call it? This stuff. Ranger Archival ink. And just used my brush, roughed it up, and then I thought, well, a lot of us back in the day would have used stencils in this way by outlining things to put them on posters or whatever. So then I went, after the fact, I went back in with a color that worked. So this is just essentially a journal card. And again, I could try to, I suppose I could have also tried, inked around, but that would have seemed counterintuitive to me. But just kind of taking these little mouse bites out of it here and there probably are helping. Okay, so journal card. Then I did a Y, and I picked this paper because I don't like it, and used one or two different sort of browns. But of course, this stencil background matches perfectly with that stripe. And then I thought, well, okay, let's leave some options open. And this time I just turned it, I left it like this. So this is 10. This is about, oh, it's 9 inches. So that's fine. It could be a signature. Now, in hindsight, because this was a long strip, I wish I would have put the stencil on this side, because that's how I'm used to reading. But for this purpose, it doesn't matter. It will still eventually, if it's used as a signature page, it will still all be visible at some point. Now this one, I could probably go back in with that brown brush of mine. I wonder if I can just, see, I never thought of this until I started talking to you guys about it. Let's see what damage we can do here. Maybe try not to wreck that one in the process. So this is just, sort of damaging the paper a bit. If I could pick it up, we'd be in business. Now, we don't really want to tamper with that, probably. So I could just do a little scratching up there. And like I said, I guess I could so I think I don't need to belabor this point. You know what I'm driving at here. So I will work a bit on that later. Now, if I were to touch Okay, let's just do it. Who am I kidding? I can't leave well enough alone. Where's my brown brush? Hopefully there's enough on there to... So, of course, where the paper has been hurt and scratched away and you know, torn off in layers, it will take ink differently than had it not been. So, and you know, it's going to look a little contrived if I do that on all four corners, so maybe I won't do that so much here as just maybe bend that back, let it look a little soiled. Remember when there was that phase, that craze, where people were deliberately bending back corners on stuff and gluing them down and inking them up and all that? Anyway, you get the idea. So, another lesson. Have I ever done a video? Please tell me, have I ever done a video where I haven't learned something or found an improvement or a way to do it differently next time? So, and then the last example, well, the last example like this I will show you is this X. And this one, I left the paper the entire width, so this could obviously be something that gets stuck into a pocket or clipped to the side of a page. When I outlined it, look, I missed, I overshot and made a mark there, so that too looks more. And here I used two different colors of ink to kind of say, oh, this was a pop. X is so popular. Look, she used two different colors. She used it twice with different colors. So there are those. So then I thought, okay, let's try something with these little, what would these be, 2-inch letters? Yeah, 2-inch letters. So then I thought, well, I had this print, which kind of, I don't know, maybe it was the best choice I had in terms of kind of a whimsical, childlike thing. So I did an ABC 1, 2, 3. Now, in this case, I was hard-pressed. I cut it really close. I was hard-pressed to get this to be narrow enough to be a pocket. Now, it is almost 5.5 inches wide, which is really not great. But I thought this would make a cute, either a cute pocket or a cute horizontal belly band. And I used two colors of ink and outlined in the turquoise. And then I thought, okay, if we're saying, you know, there's that expression, ABC, 1, 2, 3, why don't I do a 1, 2, 3 as well? So this scrap of paper ends up being narrower. And I didn't know what the ultimate use would be, whether it would be a bigger journal card, whether it would be a pocket, whether I cut this one, you know, make it shorter and let it be another belly band to be used in the same project probably, you know, for a little cohesion. I think it's kind of cute if they stayed on the same page because then that connection would be made. But again, who knows? Probably no one is thinking about stuff like that except me. So anyway, I just wanted to bring these ideas to you. Of course, I think it would be a lot more effective if your stencils actually had authentic wear on them rather than, you know, that. But in either case, it is putting to use something that is obviously decades old and isn't something I'm likely to ever reach for today and use. That's not how we make posters anymore. So I just wanted to share that with you. Now, these are awfully close together. Oh, you know what might be a good one, a good idea on either one of these. Let's see, how wide is this? 8.5. This is obviously wider, but how that's my 10-inch mark there. 10, so about 9 inches, like from opening to opening. So what would be cool here? Let's just do it. We've got time. You know, I keep my 2 cutters in a wooden crate in the knee hole of my desk. And I really hope that, you know, there is a certain precision that we expect of these tools. I just hope I'm not throwing them out of alignment or whatever by treating them a little bit roughly. Okay, I'm just trying to get this to the point where I can fit it comfortably in this smaller cutter. So, oops, trim that there. Okay, so what I was thinking is, because this is so spaced so closely, can I cut this lengthwise? It's going to be a microscopic little, oh boy, how about moving it over here? A microscopic little border. Come on, baby, you can do it. Come on. Ugh. Okay, that's what we have there. So that's not too bad, I guess. That could be a cute page edging. Of course, I trim the other side. A cute page edging in like a school days journal or something. I should have done it when there was more to grasp onto here. It's not going to be even, but ugh. Yeah, I think that would be really cute as a page edging. So might as well do the other 2. And then I could put it in with my strips, or I can put it into the place where I've got the other school days bits and pieces stored. Ooh, that's almost going to cut the $sign off there. I think I have to split the difference between the actual letters, and if the $sign has to be sacrificed. Oh, I think I'm so close. Damn it. Whoa, that's close. Yeah, if that, oh, that's okay. So now I've got 3 page edges. And yeah, so I'm happy about that. I'll put it with the school stuff. And I'm that many steps closer to actually using these things up. If you have any additional ideas, I think that would be great. Of course, I could also, you know, tear up something like this, because it's just, again, cardstock, and use it in an art journal, glue book, whatever. Oh, I was also thinking, when I was paging through this storage box here, you know, I could probably make a little more room if I, how wide is this? 5.5. I think I'll trim these guys down so they fit better. Anyway, I could also, in my ABC glue book, I could also work the letter into that particular spread for whichever letter I'm working on. So that's another possibility of getting some of these guys used up. These smaller ones might be easier to incorporate than something as big as that blue one, but Anyway, those are just some ideas I wanted to share with you today. I hope that you are well and keeping warm. I'm kind of getting sick of the snow and the drifting. Our roads are somewhat impassable. So yeah, I do have an appointment in the city later this week, so I hope the snowplow finds us and gets us cleared up here. And in the meantime, I hope you create something gorgeous today. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.